SaaS industry has always been competitive, but today the competition is fiercer than ever. As we edge closer to 2025, software buyers are more informed, discerning, and demanding. Now, gone are the days when simply offering a robust solution was enough to guarantee success. SaaS businesses now need to be much more strategic in how they position their products to ensure they don't just get noticed, but make into those all important buyer shortlists. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Analytics Insight podcast, where we explore the latest trends and innovations transforming industries today. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. So, how exactly can SaaS companies have a strategic edge in today's business landscape? That's what we are here to explore. In today's episode, we will discuss key strategies that can help SaaS businesses rise above the noise, reignite their growth, and align themselves with the evolving needs of their target customers. Let's welcome Mr. Narayan Adeeb, Vice President of Gartner Digital Markets India and a member of Gartner's India Executive Council. Hi, Narayan. How are you doing?
Hi, Priya. I'm great. Well, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's great to be here.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Narayan. I think we are going to explore some interesting insights from you. But before we get into deeper about the SaaS industry and the SaaS companies and how they can have a strategic edge. Of course, we all know about Gartner Digital Markets, but again, if you can, tell us more about your organization, also about your role, your journey till date, and how you're contributing towards the industry.
Sure. So as you might know, Gartner is in the business of delivering actionable, objective insights to executives and their teams. And as an extension of that promise, Gartner Digital Markets' mission is to empower organizations to accelerate growth by helping them embrace the right technology and services. When you're in market for software and services, you'd find our 4 buyer destination websites, which are Capterra, Software Advice, GetApp, and UpCity. These websites are frequented by more than 100 million active buyers annually. You would find more than 2 million customer reviews here for software and services and more than 1,200 categories. This makes us the world's largest platform for finding software and services. So on one hand, we have these websites with reviews and research and personalized advice to help buyers make the best purchase decisions. On the other hand, our B2B platform enables the providers of softwares and services to build their brand and capture demand. In terms of my role, I lead India operations for Gartner Digital Markets. I'm also a member of Gartner's India Executive Council. 2 major aspects to my role. The first is helping us find and seize opportunities to improve upon and scale our India story, something our global leadership has always been quite bullish about. And then, of course, as a site leader, setting the right cultural direction, enabling the right local leadership talent, who would in turn make sure that we are doing right by our growth story while also promoting and preserving the right culture. So along those 2 lines, I'm really proud of having taken the opportunity to help start a few traditions here with the help of our global leadership, be it the Gartner Digital Markets Insight Summit, which is an exclusive gathering of software leaders from SaaS industry to learn the latest software buyer trends and discover strategies to, like I said earlier, build their brand and capture demand. We hosted the 2nd annual edition of this event in Bangalore just a few weeks ago. Last year, it was Gurgaon. It has been a bit of a make in India story for us as it started here and is now being scaled to other global locations. And then internally, we have a couple of major initiatives going. One is a gamified learning program, which is tailored to the learning needs of our Indian associates and comes with a competitive twist. The other is where we take a day off to simply celebrate our core values with fun and reflective workshops. So both of these were in the 3rd annual editions this year. In terms of the journey overall, for me, it's been usually a story of exploration and wonder, picking up a thread and seeing where that goes, and at that spot, finding another thread to see that one goes. And at the start of my career, it's an HR intern. The company used SAP for their HR functions. So I did a certification and became an SAP certified HR functional consultant as I traveled the world working with clients, and I realized that it's in essence technology consulting. So then I joined a pure play consulting firm and focused on technology enablement, and this time of the client's revenue management functions. In this firm, I built and led several teams of experts and analysts, and in what was in many ways a corporate entrepreneurship setup with a startup inside a mothership feel to it. The challenge of helping build and sustain teams in a similar corporate entrepreneurship setup is what brought me to my current role. Here at Gartner Digital Markets has to do with technology, and we help business builders stay on top of trends and make connections that fuel growth, both for software providers and buyers.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Anara. And it's really great to hear about the impact your organization has had, and also interesting to understand how your specific role has evolved over time and how your contributions have directly shaped the industry. I believe you recently were also part of the Insights Summit, securing your spot on buyer shortlist. So let's start talking about the software buying trends that we can likely see in the coming year of 2025. One major shift I think we are seeing is that buyers are no longer focused solely on features. I mean, yes, features matter, but more than that, they also want to know how particular software delivers real and tangible value. I think they're looking at more at the long-term impact. So, how can your solution help them achieve their goals faster, more efficiently, and of course with better ROI? So, what are some of the software buying trends that you predict would take over in 2025?
So our 2025 Tech Trends Survey covers them in great detail. We've touched upon some of these, like you said, in the Insight Summit just last month, and all of them were fascinating findings. The biggest one is that despite the ongoing challenges and economic headwinds, a large majority of businesses, 83% of that, still have high growth expectations. And India is incredibly optimistic in the respect, with an even higher percentage of businesses expecting growth this coming year. In fact, this was the highest of the 9 representative countries in our study. Again, more than 80% of businesses are looking to increase their software buying budgets in 2025. Buyer behavior is changing in that users are searching for brand names more often than generic software terms. Search itself is evolving. The experience of what you search for and what you get has been turning on its head. There's a lot that appears on your Google search results page today before your actual organic search results. For example, there is a people also asked section that appears higher than the organic blue links. This might remind you of a feature from your Amazon shopping experience, only that Google has pulled it up on the page. But in all of this, buying journey remains highly complex, challenging, and time consuming. Buyers must consult with endless stakeholders, often cut through mountains of red tape, and pass information from numerous information sources before they can actually go on and make a purchase.
Right. I think those are some interesting perspectives on current trends. And with the software landscape evolving so rapidly, it's really essential to stay ahead of what's coming next. And as we look forward to 2025, I think these specific trends can fundamentally change how businesses approach software buying.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't talk about SaaS buying trends without addressing the latest AI trends. AI is transforming different industries, and of course, it's transforming the SaaS industry in ways we couldn't have imagined a few years ago, because buyers are actively seeking AI-powered solutions that can automate tasks, deliver predictive insights, and also improve efficiency across the board. It's this ability of AI that can help businesses, make smarter, data-driven decisions, and it has now become like a key factor that buyers are now prioritizing. So, what are some of the latest AI trends, and what buyers can seek from such AI software?
One of the more defining AI trends this year and last has been around search, of course. How you search and also the results have been transforming as the search engines embrace AI. AI overview is often the first prominent thing that you'd see now in your Google search results, right after the refinement builds up top. We're also seeing an increase in non-Google AI search traffic like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. And while the total traffic from those channels is still small, it appears to be popular with younger users. Another big one is that AI is now a top 3 software purchase priority for buyers and is going to be so in 2025. And it was not the case last year. The other 2 priorities along with AI are security and IT management. So buyers are essentially thinking critically about how AI and security features can play a role across their entire software stack in order to make the processes more efficient and to protect their sensitive data. Overall, as businesses develop more realistic expectations with time, the focus is shifting towards built-in AI functionality that enhances or complements existing software toolkits rather than relying on standalone AI solutions that aim to replace entire existing software ecosystems.
Right, I think that's pretty insightful on our end. But I think when we're talking about AI-driven software systems and the role of AI in SaaS business, I think when you're talking about the from the buyer's perspective, they are also evaluating the seamlessness of these software integrations and scalability as well, and how they can overall improve user experience. And I think when we're talking about the buying process in the software industry, it's pretty much complex because buyers are also doing extensive research before they even reach out to vendors. Now, I was just reading across some data and it showed that 70% of the decision making process happens before a prospective customer contacts you. So, this means that
Mhm.
by the time they come to you, they have already compared numerous solutions, they have consulted reviews, and also have a strong sense of what they exactly want. Now, if you apply this into the SaaS landscape, the question becomes how do you position yourself early in that entire process? So, as I mentioned, like the entire buying process is very complex. So, are there any certain steps or ways that you would like to suggest where SaaS businesses can, tackle this complex software search journey?
Well, that's a great question. In fact, last year, as part of some of our research, we touched upon the concept of buyer shortlists or lists that buyers create and curate to give themselves a starting point in this journey before narrowing things down further. It allows them to have a bit of linearity in the chaos. So this time around, we wanted to dig into this and get a deeper understanding of the various phases and versions of that list. And when we did that, we found that when buyers are looking to purchase software, they begin with an informal list of 4 or 5 vendors. This is the list they practically wake up with. It's influenced by social media, advertisements, word of mouth, or seeing products at a trade show, as well as reputation and previous experiences with the vendor, if any. Then they get down to research. They look at customer reviews, they look at market research and expert recommendations, and they arrive at a short list. Now, they could do this by simply eliminating contenders from their initial informal list. They could also bring in new options from their research. In fact, a large majority do make changes to their initial list after the research. Then they would further define and refine the list to decide to which vendors they will actively be engaging with in the next phase, which is the trial phase. And finally, they just choose one based on the trial. So, um, rounding out, this is for the buyers, of course, rounding out your research, validating with social proof, and then personal experience to progressively whittle down the list seems to be the answer from a buyer perspective. And from a software provider perspective, of course, you make sure that you're making all the right moves to stay on top of their mind as they whittle down these lists.
Right. Thank you for shedding light on this, Nara. And I think navigating the entire software search journey can indeed be a very daunting process, especially when we have such an array of options, available today. But again, when we're talking about these options, I think when you have such multiple options available, it becomes very difficult for buyers to choose the right software. Because at each stage of the funnel, SaaS providers need to be very conscious of how they present their product. So for them, I think it's not just about being visible, but also being very relevant. Like I mentioned
Yes.
earlier, also that it's very important that you offer a solution that is more tangible and has a very real value impact. So it means that it's very important that you are understanding the buyer's pain point and demonstrating how your solution is a best fit, and not just through marketing speak, but also through proof points like customer case studies or some valuable demonstrations or a value driven content that exactly resonates with the buyer's specific needs.
Yep.
So we were talking about the buyer shortlist. So how can SaaS businesses secure a very specific spot or a very niche spot on the buyer shortlist, and then can reignite the entire growth process?
So yeah, we spoke about the buyers waking up with an informal list based on reputation, right? And also mentioned that there is a trend where brand name recognition is proliferating in the marketplace, and users are searching for specific brands. So first of all, this makes it even more imperative that SaaS businesses own the search results for their brands, expand their content marketing efforts, and have a robust digital presence. But if somehow we're not on that initial informal list that the buyers are waking up with, remember that that list is subject to change. Customer reviews of your products are the single most important source of information that influences buyer shortlists. So it's absolutely essential to have a body of reviews of your products to check that the information is new, verified, and up to date. So SaaS businesses should take advantage of reviews and ratings from third-party websites and do everything that they can to be visible and make their brand known in the marketplace and discoverable on search so that they're seen as the strong challengers, even if they were not on the initial list. They should also make sure that information on their products on credible third-party websites is accurate, up to date, and is consistent with what they are trying to say on their own websites. Particularly when buyers are building their engagement list, they're looking for different types of information. So they rely on the software providers' sites for facts like whether or not a product has a certain feature, the integrations it can handle, and how much it costs. And they turn to third-party review sites like ours to understand how it all comes together and whether these businesses are delivering on their promise. So make sure that there are no inconsistencies between different sites. And once the buyer is engaging with you to talk or get more detailed pricing or something similar, needless to say, this is where it all boils down to. Product trials and demos are among the most important factors for buyers finalizing purchase decision. So control the controllables and you've got it.
Yeah, I think you rightly mentioned that reviews play a very important role in SaaS business. But I guess even if you just not consider the SaaS business, even personally, if I'm buying anything from like Amazon or anything, it's you are somehow triggered to check for reviews when you're buying something. So of course that
Absolutely.
applies to the SaaS landscape as well. And again, I think with the overall ecosystem changing so rapidly, I think everyone, yeah, all buyers are more concerned uh, to garner like more real value. I think buyers want to know that will investing in a particular solution pay dividends down the line? Will they have a clear path from purchase to ROI? So I think they want like a very seamless customer journey from the buying to even like the post purchase services as well. So while we're talking about certain factors that buyers need to see, or how businesses can probably ensure their spot in the buyer's shortlist, there are a lot of factors that need to be considered. And of course, with so many multiple options available in the market, how do you position yourself as a a value driven product or solution in today's buyer market? So can you help us understand our listeners who are particularly in the SaaS business as to how they can position their product as value driven in today's buyer's market, apart from reviews and some valuable demonstrations?
So at Gartner Digital Markets, the buyers rely on our objective insights to guide purchase decisions. So this is where you position yourself. We work with over 10,000 software providers to help solve the primary challenge of reaching the buyers. And our goals are to help these SaaS businesses build their brand with profiles, reviews, and badges and capture in market demand. And also get insight into their market and product sentiment with their products reviews and also their competitors' product reviews. So, firstly, every brand building effort needs foundational product messaging. And that's why we place emphasis on profile completion on our platform. We now track this percentage within the account so you can make necessary adjustments and learn from our recommendations. So the businesses can make sure that they have the right and the different types of content necessary to ensure that your profile is complete and well optimized with the logo, the right call to action, profile description, which, mind you, would serve pretty much like an ad if you have a sponsored profile campaign with us. And then any visuals, integration information. And since you mentioned a value oriented positioning, I cannot emphasize enough on how crucial pricing information is. In our buyer trend reports last year, we found buyers truly value price transparency. Cost and pricing was the number one factor buyers care about when searching for software. And then the experience that you get for that price is essentially what constitutes value. And this is where reviews power your profile and power your positioning on our platform. So we use reviews everywhere across the profile. They power your star rating right at the top of the page, along with your most recent review. Reviews also power the pros and cons section of our websites. Buyers find that pros and cons are essential to trust and trust that information that they're receiving. It's objective. You can also earn badges on all four of our websites based on your reviews. These are either our top rated badges like the Captura Shortlist badge, which indicate category leadership across dimensions, or our best of badges for positioning and differentiation in a particular area, like our best value badge. So if you have a badge or a shortlist mention, this is also used as social proof right at the top of the profile. So reviews truly power our platform, and they power your credibility as SaaS businesses. And if you have your profile optimized and you have reviews that show your product's credibility, now the next question is, how do you reach more buyers with that positioning? So on our platform, you can sponsor your profile with a pay-per-click campaign. This does amazing things for your competitive positioning. When buyers click through any of our category-specific keywords, this is an opportunity to gain more visibility in this category with your value-oriented positioning.
Great. I think it's very insightful to hear how you're focusing on driving value in the SaaS business. And of course, the approach that Gartner adopts is pretty different, and it's more effective in ensuring that the particular software or a product remains more relevant and indispensable for buyers in this landscape. In your response, you mentioned that cost and pricing are one of the top factors that buyers usually consider when they're boiling down on the process of making a decision of purchasing a software. In the entire process, have they ever considered data privacy and security as one of the aspects when they're making a buying decision? Because with the evolving landscape, data privacy and security has become quintessential. So has that affected or influenced their buying decision making, considering data privacy and security?
It's one of the top investment priorities, actually, security. Like I mentioned, it's amongst the top three along with AI and overall IT management. So they're very sensitive about protecting their sensitive data. And they're kind of not thinking of it unidimensionally. They're thinking about how both security and AI and any other latest trends that they can think about them holistically across their tech stack.
Right. Yeah, I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. Um, Moving ahead, I think we have already, explored a lot about the software journey process and how buyers can definitely have a more balanced and a more focused approach in terms of ensuring their spot in the shortlist. But I also want to touch upon the role of Gen AI in software. I mean, I don't want to leave this conversation without addressing the elephant in the room, that's generative AI. It's kind of impacted our daily lives, and it's also going to impact in the very near future as well. And in many industry, it's already happening. I'm sure it's also happening in the software development and engineering landscape as well. And there's no arguing to the fact that AI powered code generation and related tools are kind of changing how software gets created, tested, and even deployed. And the effects that we are seeing right now are just the tip of the iceberg. So we want to know from you, what are some of the impacts or the significance of Gen AI in the software industry?
So, yeah, let's start with search, which touches us all, and it's evolving particularly thanks to generative AI. We have players like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, which are popular with younger users, but Google is still in the ascendancy. And there we spoke about the AI overview in the search results page. So the results that appear there are often also appearing in the top 10 organic search results, which means that a software provider with the right content moves can now get a 2-for-1 win on that page. Generative AI is also noted as an information source that is really influential when buyers make their initial shortlist. As the interest in AI explodes, nearly all software providers are working on AI features to meet the needs of their prospective customers. In fact, in 2023, the number of AI software listings on Gartner Digital Markets almost doubled, and the number of AI product reviews increased by 2.5 times. We also nearly doubled the AI software categories on our platform. So in terms of industry commitment, there is a near universal commitment to AI investments. Um, and driving this widespread adoption is the growth of generative AI, of course, popularized by AI chatbots such as ChatGPT and DALI, and due to their productivity and time saving benefits. In fact, Gartner research predicts that generative AI will account for over one third of AI software spending by 2027.
Right, absolutely. I think it's very remarkable to see how GenAI is reshaping the software industry. And it's not just about influencing the software development, but I think it's kind of having a broader impact on the entire ecosystem of software services. Finally, as we look ahead to 2025, it's clear that buyers are increasingly looking for a very seamless experience throughout the entire sales journey. And they want products and solutions that are not only powerful, but are also easy to implement, integrate, and also have the scalability abilities. So, one last question for you, Narayan. How do you see the future of the software industry, especially with these emerging technologies playing a very important role here?
So I would complement what you were saying with just some pointers straight from Gartner research around the usage of AI in the industry and development itself. So by 2028, 75% of enterprise software engineers will use AI code assistance, and this is up from less than 10% in early 2023. By 2027, 50% of software engineering organizations will use software engineering intelligence platforms to measure and increase developer productivity compared to 5% this year. So upskilling remains the need of the hour, and in the future it will allow us to do much greater things than we even imagined. We already talked about how valuable AI is becoming for product functionality and how pervasive the requirement seems to be becoming. This is slated to drive a lot of growth for the industry. And then, of course, on search, as more players come in and with more ways to win for content marketers amongst the search engine results, the experience seems to be becoming more fragmented with purchase decisions harder to take. So, might I make perhaps a personal prediction that people will fatigue on AI as an information source and lean more into the more personal and human peer experiences of others? And that's where reviews and our platform comes in.
Right. I think the numbers that you mentioned in your responses clearly indicate the impact of AI-driven solutions in the software industry. And I think to sum it all up, SaaS companies can definitely reignite their growth and secure a spot on buyer shortlist by focusing on value, personalization, and positioning themselves early in the buyer's journey. With the right combination of AI-driven innovation, customer-centric messaging, and a deep understanding of the buyer's pain points, they can not only stand out but also truly thrive in the competitive landscape ahead. Well, thank you so much, Narayan. It was pleasure having you with us, and thank you for helping us with certain strategies as to how SaaS businesses can position their products and truly drive value in the software industry.
Thank you, Priya. The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you so much, Narayan. So, this is for our listeners. That's it for today's episode at Analytics Insight Podcast. And I hope you found these insights valuable as you plan your strategies for the future. Be sure to stay tuned for more discussions of how we can drive growth and innovation in the tech ecosystem. You can view and listen all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.